work. Okay, so yeah, we are currently to start right now. We will start our live stream by 7 o'clock. Yeah, so it's almost done. It's almost time. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Let's just hold on for that to be 7 o'clock. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. 7 o'clock will begin. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. By 7 we start. Okay. Yeah. So hi. Good evening. And I don't know where you're watching me from. Either from Nigeria, Canada, Kenya, Uganda, or anywhere. Good evening. Yeah. So basically, this is a quick one actually. It's a quick live stream, and I've not really been around. And so, although we are meant to start by 7 o'clock actually, yeah. So there are some concerns which we want to resolve and treat. Okay, yeah. So I think we already have much people here. Even if it's 10 persons, okay, that's nice. So good evening, and either good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. Anywhere watching me from? Yeah, you're welcome to Ekidel. I know that. I've not really been around for some time now. That's why you have not seen me making some videos, although most of our teams have been making some videos also. But currently, now I'm a bit free and I'm back. Yeah. So I said again last time, that was last 2 months ago, that we want to engage on oil and gas training and all that. Yeah, that will begin perfectly this month. Yeah, beginning from next week, you'll be seeing me making some videos about oil and gas design. Why other of our teams, which we hired for the training for the oil and gas, we will also begin the training, but they will focus on mentorship. Why I will focus on CAD designing, but still in oil and gas. Okay, that's fine. And also, we have been getting most of the comments that you guys need a video on slab raft. Yeah, slab raft design and all that. Yeah, I'll be making that video this week, before either this weekend or before this weekend. Yeah, you'll get that video by Saturday. Yes, on slab raft design and all that. Then regarding, I don't know if any other one you want to like make. Let me say you're having difficulties on any particular design and all that. You can also put that on the comment section. So that can be also part of what I will make on the video. Yeah, I also have someone called me that they need a video on a pie foundation. Yeah, on a pie foundation. I also make a video on that too. Yeah, know that product structure only design pie cap. All right. Now, if you want to design a pie foundation, you have to use product detail. So you design for your pies on product detail, while you design for pie cap on product structure. Okay, that's fine. Okay, then also, what again? Yeah, because as I'm back now, I'm trying to just check out some things which we have not yet touched. Okay, you know that. Yeah, we have not done much on steel design. Yeah, we also put some things on that on steel design. Yeah, yeah. I think one of my team has designed on a corbel. Yeah, corbel design on that. Yeah. But let me just leave all that right now. First, I want to know how you guys are doing. So yeah, I've really missed you guys, and I've really missed everybody. My friends from Kenya. We have missed friends from Uganda, Tanzania, yeah, especially, and Uganda too, and Kenya, and Nigeria, most especially Nigeria, Estonia, and most of our friends also subscribers from Canada. Yes, we have some yeah, Canada, and most surprising, we also have subscribers from China. Yeah, we have people that have been coming from China, chatting us up, and also Indians. You guys are doing great too in India too. Yeah, so especially this month we'll be more engaged in most of the when it comes to design. Yeah, design of structures. For example, we have not done video on slab raft at all, beginning from Ekidel 2 years back. So we'll be making videos on slab raft foundation. There are two ways of designing slab raft foundation. Yeah, most of you don't know. Yeah, so I'll be using the first approach on the slab raft design. Then I'll now make a video again on the second approach. The first approach requires you to use your experience, your ideas after your design to get that, which is very, very okay. Why the second approach, you just depend on the software to give you, although you have to make your check-ins, all right? That's fine. So always, like I said again, you always make your check-ins, okay? You always check for what the software is giving to you, okay? Because you are the last, you are the last authority. So say, okay, this is good or not, okay? That's fine. So I'm making two videos on slab raft, two approaches on that. The first approach, again, I said again, will be specially for, it's very easy. The first approach is very easy, and even if the software is given error, I'll show you how to use your experience to make sure that is solved out, okay? And that, yeah. Then also, most of you guys have been having issues on the softwares. Most times, maybe you try to model and you're having issues, warning and all that. I will also show you how to resolve those warnings, okay? Yeah, basically in softwares, actually, there are some warnings you have to ignore, okay? Yeah, basically this live streaming, I didn't just announce it. I just want to just, so anyone that joins, it's okay. So there are some warnings you have to ignore, yeah. So I'll also try to tell you guys most of the warnings you have to ignore, because we get many messages and that and say, okay, this one, you know. So I'll show you some warnings you have to ignore, because there are some warnings that will not impact on the structure. Yeah, most warnings are just for modeling sake, okay? I know that. So I'll show you those type of warnings that when you see, you have to ignore that and then just go ahead with the design, okay? That's fine. Then, what again, let me see. Okay, you're welcome, Adora Jordan. Yeah, you're welcome. I really love you guys. You say, sir, are you familiar with ETAB? Yeah, we use ETABs. Yeah, we use ETAB, but most the reason why we don't use ETAB that much is because ETAB doesn't give detailing. Yeah, compared to how this software gives detailing. Yeah, but ETAB is very good when it comes to analysis and design. Yeah, like when it comes to giving you like the reports. Yeah, it's very good. But I stopped using ETAB some years ago. Yeah, that's because it's after you're designing, you now have to go and begin manual drawings, and that time is not what we don't have, or what you don't have to. Yeah, so although we use ETAB, we can make a video on that. Okay, so let me see. The mind fan say I have been asking a question on WhatsApp. I've not. Okay, I don't know your question, but I will try to check the WhatsApp platform to see what your question is. We are very sorry for that. If no one is giving you a reply on that, very sorry for that. The mind fans. Then AGK, you say, sir, can you help on a highway and road design? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, we will do a highway and road design for that. But okay, yeah, we will try and make out time for that, for highway design. Basically this year, yeah, we'll try and make out time for that, for highway design for this year, and we will be using CivilSoft for, sorry, Civil 3D for that, and then also Excel spreadsheet for that too. Yeah, so I think that's okay. Or when AGK, I think that's fine. That's okay. Yeah, we'll be making videos on the highway. Okay, that's fine. So as I was saying again, also, the reason why I want to embark on oil and gas design is because you see that most people don't have idea at all about oil and gas design. That's because the people involved that is currently working in oil and gas don't even have time to teach the younger engineers. They don't have time. Yeah, I work in oil and gas. Yeah, but before I came into oil and gas, I've been working in normal site work, okay, I know that. So, but people in oil and gas don't really have time. Maybe because the kind of workload given to them, I know that. Yeah, there is high taxing workload given to people working in oil and gas compared to when you're working in just a construction industry. Okay, there is a quite difference. Okay, but even at that, I've tried to talk with most of my colleagues and most engineers around the world to be able to give their to be able to teach the younger engineers also. Now you can see the softwares that we are going to be teaching on the oil and gas training. One is Tekla structures. You know, Tekla is of two types. They have Tekla structural designer and they have Tekla structures. So we will be teaching Tekla structures, and that will be used for CAD designing. When it comes to oil and gas, it's of two types. Sorry, I'll answer all your questions on that. Oil and gas, if you are employed as an engineer in oil and gas, you are going to pick either to be a design engineer or to be a CAD designer. Now, CAD designer doesn't do design. What they do is just detailing, right? While the engineers are the one that does the design. So when they're done with the design, they will give their design report to the CAD designer, and then you will now pick up their report, and then begin to produce all the drawings which they will use for the construction. One engineer, oil and gas does not employ an engineer as an engineer and also as a CAD designer, because the workload will be too much. So they tend to separate it. Every engineer has a CAD designer. Now, you might think that, oh, I want to be an engineer because you think the money they will pay engineer will be high. No, no. When it comes to oil and gas industry, the pay is based on how you bargain. All right. So I might be an engineer now that just came. Let me say I'm earning let me say $5,000 and all that. Then you as a CAD designer, you also came for the interview, and then we both passed the interview. But when it comes to bargaining power, you have to bargain on how much they will pay you and all that. So you might be earning more than me. So it doesn't mean that I'm a CAD designer or you're a CAD designer, and then because I'm an engineer, and then I'll have to earn more than you. No. I've seen someone like in my years of experience in oil and gas. There is someone that didn't even that stopped in level 3. That's grade 3 from my trade, and all that, because of lack of, he doesn't have money. But he went ahead and learned only AutoCAD. He learned detailing very, very well. That guy is earning more than $1,000. Yeah. So that's to tell you that oil and gas are not really looking for your paper. No. What they're looking for is what you can bring into the system, how you can be able to solve problems. Okay. So that's why on this our training, we will also use 3D models, like a visual, what you're going to see after you're done with our training in oil and gas. When you have a work in oil and gas, the same thing we use to train you, it's what you're going to see. So it's not like you see different. No, it will be like a real life training. Okay, I know that's fine. Although that would be a different thing altogether. Let me now look at what you guys are saying. Okay, you might answer. The question is, why don't you apply? Okay, yeah. Now you are asking, why don't I apply roof load on a beam? Okay, now currently, I think I've already explained that a lot on our videos, but maybe I don't know the one you watched. Now, depending on the country you are coming from, all right, when it comes to roof load, depending on the countries you are coming from. Now, if you're coming from a country that has snow load, for example, UK, Canada, Australia, Luxembourg, and all that, if you're coming from a country that has snow load, then you have to apply, you must have to take roof load into consideration, knowing that roofing sheets are of different sizes, thicknesses. All right? Yeah, correct. Now, in countries that have snow load or snow effects, the size of their roofing sheet, which is the thickness, is very, very thick. Most times 0.25, most times 0.5, and all that. That's because they want the roofing sheet to be able to carry that snow, knowing that snow can stay for like sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks before it gets off. Now, in that kind of country, you must have to take snow roof load and snow load into consideration. Now, knowing that the roofing sheet is very, very thick, and because of that thickness, there will be much weight from the roofing sheet onto the roof beams. Okay, so you must consider roof load on that particular place. Now, but if you're in a country that doesn't experience snow load, like African countries, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, name them. there is no snow in sub-Saharan Africa or in Africa as a whole. So in this place, if you can look at your thickness of your roofing sheet, you see that they are very, very thin, like light, 0.0. It's not 0 point something, but 0.0, right? So it's very, very, at maximum 0.1 or 0. Yeah, it's very, very thin. So with that, and knowing that the depth of your roof beam, concrete roof beam, is already 100. So with that, since your roofing sheet is very, very tiny when it comes to thickness and all that, I can tell you with experience that the depth of roof beam which you're using of 300 can be able to carry that roof, that your roofing sheet perfectly. So there is no need you applying roof load, which is the roofing sheet load on that, knowing that the thickness is already 0.0 something. So by the time you factor and get your say that applying roof load on beam depends on the country and all that. For example, if you're in Africa, I can tell you that there is no need applying the roofing load, because the sizes of our roofing sheet here in Africa is not that much. Yeah. So with that, your thickness of your roof beam can be able to carry that without any issue. Okay. But if you're designing for countries that has known effect, okay, the thickness of their roofing sheet is way too more. So with that, you will have to apply roof load on your roof beam. Okay, that's fine. Then Kilobyte, I don't know if you're still here. Kilobyte, you were asking what of pre-stressed concrete design with portal structure. Yeah. Yeah, you can perform a pre-stressed design in portal structure. Yeah, although we have not really made a video on that, but we will make video on that too. Okay, that's fine. And then you can also design a precast on portal structure, which we have not done, although which we will do. Okay, that's fine. But you can do that. Oh yeah. So really sorry for that. We had some issues on our back end here, not that. So sorry for that. So yeah, I think this guy's just joined. You just see that? Okay, my picture was nice. Ski. Add. Let's put a picture. That's my key. Okay, so sorry for that. Actually, we had some loss in our network and all that. Okay, yeah. So like I was saying before, I've not been around. Sorry, I've not been around, and then just coming up, just came back from site travel and all that. But I'll be making some videos quite much and that beginning from this week and that. Yeah, earlier on I was saying that most of you have not really seen a video on slab raft and a pipe foundation on our channel and that. Yes. Then also, most of you also have some concerns about your design career and all that. Well, I would say that that's normal. But I know that with time you won't be having issues on that again. Okay, that's fine. Then let's just hold on for some people to join. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So if you have any concern about your design and all that, let me say you have some challenges in your part of design. Yeah, you can drop the comment and then we can discuss that area. Okay, and all that. So although this live stream was not announced and all that, so I just came back from travel, so I said, okay, let me just meet with you guys. So if you have any issues on your design, let me say you're having difficulties, we can meet up and then discuss that, okay? You can drop that in the comment section and I'll be able to answer your questions, okay? Yeah, okay, Kilobyte, you said before, but I think I've answered this before. We had some issues on our network, but I'll still answer again. You are asking that does product structure do pre-stressed concrete design and all that? Yes, product structure does pre-stressed concrete design. Yeah, but the thing is that you must have an idea on pre-stress or post-tension design. Yeah. So if you have an idea on that, then you can use product structure for a pre-stress design. Yeah, because there's an option for that. Yes. Now, the software also can also perform a precast design, but that is if you have an idea on precast structure design. Yeah, that's okay. So I don't know if maybe I've answered your question regarding that. Yeah. So I think that's okay. So the software can do a pre-stressed concrete design. Yeah. So if you have any questions so far, you can drop it down. I'll be live here for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Yeah. Sorry. Now, the reason for this is because I've been away for a very long time. So if you have any question, please drop it down on the comment section. If you have any worries about your designs or about the software, you can drop it down in the comment section and I will help to answer your question if I can, okay? Now, also, when it comes to Ekidel here, Ekidel have a structure of how our videos are. Now, most of you just watch video like that, and knowing that Ekidel is carrying everybody along, both the younger engineers, students, and all that, we are carrying everybody along. So to get the best from Ekidel, if you go to Ekidel membership here on YouTube, you can see that we structure most of our videos based on the levels. You can see that we have different levels beginning from university students level. Then you now move on to the second level, which is final year level. And then after you're done with school, you then enter into junior engineer. And then after junior engineer, you then move on to intermediate engineer and then senior engineer. So the same thing happens on our Ekidel level here. So if you go to our Ekidel join button, you'll see that we'll have different levels for different classes of engineers, beginning from when you are a student and when you graduate from school and then begin to pursue your career. So I will advise you find a place on that area and then join. All right, so join on that place the one you want to join. We have beginning from student level, final year students, junior engineer, and these things I'm saying right now is because we teach differently and all that. We are about to structure our videos based on different level of understanding. So we will be doing those videos and be putting on each of these levels based on the level of understanding. So from next month, all our videos will be structured beginning from the level of people that are still in the university. And then we also have a level for final year student, because there is something that a final year student will need to know before he moves into the market for labor, all right, to be working for companies. Then also we also have a level for junior engineers. There are some levels that if you're a junior engineer, everybody wants you to know that particular stuff. So we will also structure our videos based on that level, all right? We also have level for intermediate engineers. So we will also put videos on that based on that level. So if maybe you are a junior engineer or you are done with school and then you are still on the level of students level, you might not gain much from there, okay? You will not be able to gain much from there, because we see that the reason why most people ask questions is because you will see a student that is still in level 300 or year 3 going to learn a raft, let me say a flat slab design. That's very high for the person. Or someone that is still on that is still in year 3 or level 300 or level 200 going to learn a high-rise building design. That's too high for the person. So we are trying to structure our videos based on different classes in terms of engineering, beginning from university student level. Now, why I'm saying this, if you have any concerns or questions, you can drop it on the comment. I'll be able to see you here, and then I'll discuss with you and have some clarity based on your comment. Okay, that's fine. So you can see that we will be putting out these videos based on levels, okay, and all that. So any level you join, let me say you are a fresh graduate, you have to join junior engineers level, okay. So you will get this thing I'm saying now on our join button. You have to join junior engineers level, okay, and all that. Then if you are up to 5 years experience, you will now enter into intermediate level. And if you have up to 10 years experience, come on, you are meant to be a senior engineer. Now when it comes, now each of these level have some responsibility that you are meant to know. If you're a senior engineer, everyone will look at you that you are meant to know at least 90% of everything concerning structural design if you're an engineer. For example, if a senior engineer cannot design flat slab without column drop or with column drop, then it doesn't really make sense. Or a senior engineer cannot be able to design a high-rise building, for example, 30-story building. That means that you are not a senior engineer. But if you have 10 years experience in this profession, that qualifies you to be a senior engineer. So our advice, you begin to build yourself up to that, to what you wanted to call you, okay? Then if you're a junior engineer, yeah, it's okay going to learn high-rise building design, but any company that employs you or anyone coming to approach you as a junior engineer, because that's the level for a fresh graduate, okay? Nobody expects you to know high-rise building design, but if you know it, then it's an added advantage, okay? It will give you an edge to move very fast, okay? And that. Then if you are an intermediate engineer, there are some certain things you are meant to know. So with this, that's why here on Ekidel, we want to structure most of our videos beginning from this month to be putting them on levels so that some will not get confused and all that, because most people, you can see someone that is in year 1, year 2, still in the university trying to design high-rise building, and that is where the confusion comes, okay? But with the help of we now trying to structure our videos based on each of these levels, you will see that you won't be able to have any kind of confusion. And also, we will be making these videos based on your level of understanding. For example, if you're making video right now for someone on the student level, you see that there are some things we will not be able, that we won't be using. We'll be using some kind of engineering terms that the student level, that any student will be able to understand. Now, if we are making videos for senior engineers, okay, there are some terms that we will be using, because when you're speaking to a client or in a conference meeting, there are some things that they expect you to speak or to say as a senior engineer, okay? That's fine. So we will be using those kind of terms, and that will help you to be able to understand very fast, okay? Now, many things will be engaged in Ekidel currently, because we want to also enter into oil and gas industry. Beginning from tomorrow, you will be seeing some videos on oil and gas. But since it's a new concept we are bringing into Ekidel, we will have to explain first before you get confused. I know that most countries that don't have oil currently might not show interest on that. For example, Kenya does not have oil, so you might not show interest on this trend in oil and gas. But for countries like Angola, Nigeria, and most African countries and countries that have oil, then it's nice you show interest on this oil and gas design. Although if you're still in a country like Kenya that don't have oil, but I think currently they are currently discovering oil, they are still doing exploration in Kenya, you can still show interest to keep yourself so that when it comes up, you have already get yourself ready, okay? That's fine. So we will be moving into oil and gas beginning from this month. Yeah, from tomorrow you'll be seeing videos about oil and gas design, but we will have to explain a lot before we can dive in fully into the oil and gas design, because I don't know actually if you have any experience about oil and gas. And even if you have experience in oil and gas, we are not making videos only for you. We are trying to carry everybody along. So that's why you can see that in our videos, we try to explain and explain and explain, because we don't know the person watching the video. It might be someone that just finished from the school, you understand? Sorry. Sorry. So why this is going on, I can say that if you have any questions so far, you can drop it down on the comments on the comment section, and then I'll try to answer your question live here and all that. Because we see that most times when we try to answer a question using chats, you might not be able to understand it because it takes you to read and read and read. But I think hearing me saying it, you can be able to understand faster and faster. Okay, that's fine. Now this live stream will just be not will soon be ending, but this is the first time you are seeing me live directly on this channel. Yeah, but I'll be doing this every evening, just 30 minutes or 1 hour. That's because maybe if you have any concerns and all that, we can be able to interact here. Now we have also created a Facebook page, and the Facebook page is called Ekidel Engineering. All right, so Ekidel Engineering Facebook page. Now the reason for that is because we want to interact with you very, very well, knowing that Facebook is more interacting compared to YouTube. All right, YouTube is for study, but when it comes for communication, all right, it's Facebook. Okay, so we will be using Facebook. Now the reason why we created Facebook is to begin to give you the first principles, guiding principles when it comes to design and all that. Okay, let me see your questions. Kilobyte, you're asking that that you designed a slab manually in Eurocode, and when you modeled it in Portal structure, the rebars were like 250 meter spacing, but manual. Yeah, that's fine. So listen, when it comes to software has what they call default value or custom values. For example, you are saying that you designed a slab manually and the slab spacing for the reinforcement gave you 175 for the rebars, but rather the software is giving you 250 as a spacing. Now that's because 250 is the default slab spacing for in Portal structure. So what I advise to do is that go onto the settings and change this default value to a minimum spacing for slab. For example, you can choose 125. Now when you choose 125, you will see that the software will have to start its calculation from that, and then if it is 150 or 175, that's what it will give to you, right? But because it's 250, you can see that the software is giving what? A bigger value, knowing that what you got is 175. Now, before using the software, you're meant to make some settings, all right? Now, default value is 250, so I will advise you go and change the settings to at least 125, and then you cannot do your design again. You will see that the software will give you 175, and even some of them can be 150, right? Because I believe this 175 can be what you use as general, okay, general. But you can see that if you need to come towards the support where the column and the beam meets, you can begin to have a smaller spacings and all that, okay? So just try that first, and then let's see. If that didn't work out, tomorrow when I'll be live here again, you can then bring by your question again, and then let's see how it goes, okay? That's fine. So while we wait for the next questions, okay, from anyone. So I was saying about we having creating a Facebook page, although we have not yet posted anything there, but beginning from this month again, we will be posting videos there. So we will be posting the thumbs rule, knowing that for you to be strong, in designs of structure, you must have to know the thumbs rule in your fingertips. Okay. Now, those thumbs rule are, for example, we all know that the minimum depth of slab is what, 150. Although some codes like US code uses 120 as the minimum depth of slab, but generally, in practice, in Africa and most countries, India, 150 is most acceptable. Okay, so when you have a beam span of, let me say, 8 meters, okay, yeah, there are some kind of reinforcement you are meant to expect. So we will be telling you all those things on the Facebook page. Okay? Yeah, because Facebook is good for short-term videos, while YouTube is good for long-term videos. And we can't be saying all this on long-term video because it might. Yeah, but for short-term videos, sorry for that, but for short-term videos, you will see that you'll be able to master the thumbs rule very, very fast and all that, okay? That's fine. Now, kilobyte, you're also asking that the area of steel required was 602, which is above 250, spacing of 452, okay? The load that was calculated on the load was like 220 millimeter, okay? But when I design manually, the area of steel is 652. Let me see. Okay, 602 against 652 is not much, and that. But okay, one thing I'll let them to like know is that, right? To like know is that when it comes to manual against software, manual tries to perform over design and all that compared to, software tends to perform over design. So for that, software tends to perform over design compared to manual. For example, if you design a beam right now manually, a beam can give you, let me say, 4T16 or 4Y16 bottom and 2Y16 top when it comes to software. But let me say manually can give you 3Y or 3T16 bottom and 2T top. You can see that there is a difference of 1 bar. Now, the reason why software tends to perform over design is because every design software, the reason for then, there are 2 reasons for every software being launched out for engineers. One is to help the engineers to facilitate his or her work, knowing that manual design can be very, very taxing and cumbersome and takes time for you to get your design done. Okay, that's one. 2, the main other purpose also is to eradicate collapse of structure, because the people that program the software doesn't know the idea or the level of experience the user has. So instead of the building to collapse, they tend to do what? Perform over design. Now, that is why every software gives room for check. Now, that check is called interactive design. It's like you trying to interact with the software. Now, the reason for that interactive design is they have given you room to bring your own expertise, your own level of experience to say, okay, now, yeah, I have used the software. Now, what you're giving me, I don't like it. Now, let me not impute my own experience. So they give room for interactive design. That's for you to put in your own experience into play. Now, if you can put in your own experience into play, then you have no choice but to accept what the software is giving you, of which most at times they perform over design. But even if it is over design, it is not that much. Okay, they try to be within the limits. Okay, that's fine. So when you're doing a design, that's how you can see that we always say that that after design you must have to check for your structure, else you might begin to go with the software even if they are doing over design. Okay, that's fine. I don't know if I've answered your question, but I think from your question you said that the area of steel required was 602, which is above 250. Yeah, that's true. Then spacing of 452 millimeter. Okay, sorry, 452, I mean. Okay, yeah, I don't know, but basically there is no spacing of bar that gives you 452. The maximum spacing of reinforcement in terms of slab is 300. So even if you're getting 452 as your spacing of your reinforcement, you attempt to come back to 300 spacing. All right. Now the software tends to give 250 as their maximum. All right. They don't want to go beyond or towards 300. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Your question is that confusing actually because you're not putting the right signs. You're not putting the right units. Okay. Right now you are saying 452 area of steel. Okay. Area of steel 452. So okay, now let me say, you say that the area of steel required was 602. I don't know if this was when you used the software or the design, which is above 250, spacing of 452 square area, I mean to say, yeah, load and yeah. Well, basically it all boils down to you knowing this software, because I cannot really relate your question that much. I don't because the way your question is arranged is a bit confusing actually. Yeah, I cannot really relate. Yeah, but had it been it was on Facebook, I think you would have used a voice note to just send a chat directly. I know that. Let me say, yeah, directly, because your question is a bit confusing. Okay, that's fine. But don't worry, we will soon begin our Facebook live stream. Yeah, because we just have a page now called Ekidel Engineering. Okay, yeah, had it been is on Facebook, you would have just used a voice note and then send directly. So then I can be able to play your voice note for everyone to hear. Okay, that's fine. But sorry for that if I have not answered the question correctly, because I don't understand it that much. Okay, so let me okay, you're asking this man Laboye group. Okay, you're asking, hello, can we get a beginners series? Okay, let me get, I don't know, beginners series based on what, I don't know, on what course, on what training, on what software, I don't know, you just say beginners series. Okay, let me know what beginners series you're like saying. Then Olufa, I don't know this name, Olufaloha. Yeah, you're welcome. You're just replied to Kilobyte. That's fine. That's okay. And then we also have past people that have commented, because we are live as at 6:42. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for that. Let me just say. Okay. So as I was saying, while we wait for other questions to come up and all that, yeah, I would say that I've not been around. Yeah, but beginning from this month, from this week, you will be seeing videos. Yeah, the first video I'll make will be on slab raft. Okay, slab raft. Yeah, because we have not really made video on slab raft. Okay, you will see a video on slab raft design. Now, slab raft design is of two concepts. It's of two types. One, the first one I'll make will be based on experience. You will see how to apply experience when it comes to slab raft design. Then the other one will be focused on software, what the software will give to you, okay? Which I will try to explain it too, okay? That's fine. Then I have, okay, Kilobyte, sorry, yeah, Kilobyte, you're asking, what of bridge design? Can protesters do that? Yeah, now when it comes to bridge, okay? You know that bridges are of two types. We have pedestrian bridge, all right? So when it comes to bridge design, protest structure doesn't really have the code for a full bridge design. But you can use it to design pedestrian bridge, or for cycle bridge, for example, bridges that only motorcycle, bicycle can use. But when it comes to for bridges for HD vehicular loads and all that, no, you can use it to design for that, okay? But for other type of bridges, it can be used to design. But I know in future terms, they will be adding bridge design into product structure, which can now be used for the design of bridges that is carrying HD load and HV load. Okay, that's fine. Then okay, you're saying beginner series for product structure software. Okay, now we currently have over 400 videos on our channel only about product structure, okay? That's because we like the software a lot and it's very nice. Now, for you to say beginner series, that's like a basics, right? Yeah, because of the amount of videos we have on our channel, new subscribers coming in, they get confused on where to start from. That is why if you click on our join button right now, you can see that we have structured our videos based on classes, knowing that engineering basically have classes beginning from when you are in school and then when you are about to finish your school. Now when you graduate, you now become junior engineer and then so on till you get to senior engineer, okay? Now we have structured our videos. We have structured right now based on that, and we will be posting videos now based on those levels, all right? We will be posting and making videos based on levels. For example, if you want to post video now based on university student level, there are some things we will be using that will make them understand, because we want to carry everybody along. Now, if we are making videos based on final year students, all right, there are some things we have to use, because there are some things a final year student is meant to know before he enters into the market for labor, okay? Then, for the level of junior engineer, there are some things a junior engineer is meant to know. So we will be making videos based on those levels, okay? If you go to our join button for membership, if you are in countries like Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia, you might not be able to see that join button because YouTube disabled it for your country, okay? But you can inbox us and then we can be able to tell you how to join that, okay? And all that. But for countries like Nigerians, Ghana, and all that, South Africans, and other countries, you can be able to see the join button, so you can see how we have structured all our levels. Soon we will transfer all our videos to that level, because so that just to avoid anyone coming in not to get confused, okay? Because having you coming in now seeing 400 videos, you say, oh, you'll be confused on where to start from. Also, we also have beginner series level for course videos, okay? If you go to our bio, you are going to see our online store link. So you can go there and purchase our course video. Yeah, that will drive you through from the starting to the end, okay? That's fine. Then Olufola, yeah, sorry if I didn't correct it correctly, Ilori, okay? I said you watched our webinar about modeling basement, okay, and you noticed you were able to put I was able to put supports on floor 01, and you were unable to do that. Yeah, correct. 2018 version has some kind of limitation. That's why we always advise, once any new version of this software comes up, always try to upgrade, because these new versions, there are some things that they have corrected which we are imparting on this, and let me say some kind of slight errors or some new stuff which they have improved on. For example, we are currently using 24 version of product structure, okay, which is also on our bio there, on our store bio. So 2024 right now has quite some advanced modeling and design which you can use it to do. For example, lift pit. Lift pit before cannot be designed on 2022 version of the software downward. You can't design lift pit. You only use idea and experience to detail it. But now you can be able to design lift pit. In fact, you can even model stuff on Story Zero on this new version of software, 24 version of this software. You can model on Story Zero, right? For example, if you have any kind of, for example, some tank and all that on Story Zero, you can be able to model that on Story Zero. Also, this version also has other design for, like, let me say, retaining word design also. It also has that too. Many advanced things. For example, typing. You can design typing on previous version, but on this new version of software, you can design typing. Okay, yeah. There is a difference between typing and foundation beams. Okay, so you can design typing separately. On so many things to consider. Sorry. Yeah. Then also Daberichi, yeah, Daberichi Miracle, yeah, correct. Yeah, you said, sir, please consider me. Yeah, I know that we have some alignment with you some months ago about your internship and training. Yeah, I will tell Engineer Fashe, my second, to talk with you and all that. Yeah, we have some plans for you. We have been seeing your messages. We have some plans for you. So we will consider, he will tell you what we have agreed on about your internship and all that. That's fine. Okay, so like I said again, this live stream will not take long, but this is the first time we are coming. But I'll be doing this every day. That's because I have been away for a very long time. Yeah, very long time. But expect that you'll be seeing amazing videos. For example, like I said again, the first video I will do tomorrow will be on slab raft. Yeah, slab raft design, which we have not done on our channel. We'll be doing slab raft design. Now, slab raft has two approaches that we use on the software portal structure. The first approach will depend solely, you are going to apply manual principle on it. For example, like manual slab table to get your area of steel, which I will show you. Now, the second approach, you are going to use the software to derive your area of steel, which I will also show you too, okay? That's fine. So that will be on slab raft design. Now, I will also teach on pi design. Now, you can see that we have a video currently on pi foundation design. And when it comes to pi foundation design, it's of two different parts, okay? For example, portal structure only does pi cap design. Now, if you want to design for your pi, you have to use portal detail, okay, which most people don't know. Most people don't know that you have to, after you're done with your modeling of your pi and all that in the design on the software, and what you have done design is only your pi cap. To design for the pies you are seeing, you have to transfer that model to portal detail, where you have to load your soil profile on the portal detail. Now you have to load your soil profile based on your soil, on your pi result soil test. Okay, you load each of the soil profile and all that on the portal detail. Then you also load the type of pi group and all that. Then with that, you can be able to design for your pi, okay, and all that. Most people don't do that. Although we have not done video on that, but we are doing that video too on that. Now, to enjoy this very well, I'll advise you join on Ekidel membership based on your level. So click on the join button and based on the level which you want, which you are. If you have 5 years experience, please join. If you have 5 years experience, join the intermediate level, because we will be posting video based on those levels. Now, if you're a fresh graduate, your level is junior engineer. Join that level. Now, if you have 10 years experience, please join the senior engineers level. Okay, that's because we will be posting videos on this. Okay, let me say Charles Rongo. Charles Rongo, you say high steel bars in top level floor than lower. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's true. Now, this issue basically started from the first version of the software portal structure. Know that the first software this company launched was Orion CAC. Yeah. Now, when they moved from Orion CAC, they now moved into portal structure. Yeah. Now, right from Orion CAC, this software tends to give higher, most times, on most designs, not all designs, on most designs, it tends to give higher number of bars on the top floor, on the top floor column than on the lower floor column. Not all the columns, but most times it can pick 2 or 3 and give you that. Now, that issue basically is caused based on modeling, actually, because when you're modeling, you can see that by the time that's where you move your mouse will be showing at a point, showing perpendicular intercepting and all that. Now, if you just quickly go and put and then go and insert your column or model, if it is not intersecting and you now put it on perpendicular, what it means is that the column on the lower floor and on the upper floor, they are not connected directly. Yes, they are on the same point, on the same grid, but there is like a shift. So in that case, load is not transferred evenly. Although that will not affect your design. No, it won't affect the design. Yeah, but you'll be seeing the kind of issue. But I think I've made a video on how to correct that, on how to do that, okay? But if you have not seen that, I can make a video, not tomorrow, but before Saturday, this weekend. I'll make a video on how you can do that, okay? To correct that kind of issue when you are having column giving you higher number of reinforcements than the column below, okay? That's fine. Now, the next person that said the might fan says, sir, don't you think that concrete designs are going out of phase? Okay, are there other suitable materials that are cost efficient and can give better results? Yeah. Okay, when it says concrete designs are going out of phase, well, just know first, one thing you should know that when it comes to aesthetics, okay, of structures, durability, okay, of structures, concrete has a design life of 50 years. And even if that 50 years reaches, okay, the concrete can still go further to even 60 to 70 years. Just that after its design life of 50 years, it means that you have to do some kind of maintenance, okay? There will be kind of maintenance you have to be doing on the concrete. So concrete has much more design life and all that. Yeah, but if you are in other countries like US and all that, US they use mostly steel, aluminum and all that, but although these are more expensive compared to concrete, okay, and all that. Although there are other materials like, for example, polystyrene materials that they use for building currently. But even if you are using polystyrene material, your foundation will still be concrete, all right? So there is no way you can do away without concrete. Yeah, your foundation will still be concrete, concrete foundation, concrete structure, and also most integral part of the structure will still be concrete. Then you can now use polystyrene material for partitions and all that, okay, and all that. That's because you want to save cost, okay? But just know that it will be hard for concrete design to fade out, completely. No, that's because even the earth of its own is even made of concrete. For example, we know that concrete limestones are like concrete basically are going from limestones and all that. So it will be hard for it to fade out, okay? But there are other research coming up that are more cost effective, okay, like polystyrene material and all that. But know that this research, right, on the early stage, it won't be cost effective because the companies manufacturing it are not more. So it will still be it will still be expensive because when the demand of it is not that much, all right, the company manufacturing it will tend to carry the price high. So until when this research, let me say, different companies are now manufacturing these materials, then you see that it will be cheaper, all right? For example, when POP came into existence, then it was very expensive. But now you can see that it is cheaper because many companies have started manufacturing like the materials that will be used for POP and all that, okay? White cement and all that, okay? That's fine. Then, what again? I think that's all for now. Okay, so this live stream was not announced actually because it wasn't, yeah, I just came back and all that and just say, let me just reach out to the guys because it's been long. It's been long. I've not really seen you guys, but I'm really happy because I about it. So I'll be taking this live stream every evening, 7:30 every evening. That's because I want to be able to answer most of the questions. Okay, and all that. But to have more interaction with you, that will be on Facebook. Okay, that will be on Facebook. So we will be going live more on Facebook because we will be giving you guys the manual principles, Tom's rules, what you are meant to have on your fingertips when performing designs of structure. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I think this is almost, I said I will end this by 8 o'clock. This is almost 6 minutes to past 8 and all that. So thank you so much for everyone here. Dabere Chiku, Charles, the Mind fans, Olua Femi, Oluoyin, sorry for that. Labode, Loboyong Group, okay, Kilobytes, again, okay, that's fine. Okay, that's okay, and AGK, that's fine, and all that, okay, and then Adre Jordan, okay, that's fine. So thank you so much, and God bless you. Ekidel loves you, and I love you. Bye then, and bye for now. Okay, see you then, bye then, yeah.